All right, opening the meeting of the Permanent Building Committee, February 6th. First agenda item, is there anybody who wishes to engage in public participation, either present or by Zoom? Seeing none. This is a yeah, this is a box lunch. This is a page turn meeting. What we're going to do is I suggested to SMMA that we essentially start with the academic wing, go through what the standard classroom looks like, and then any of the specialized classrooms in the academic wing. Then go to the gyms, I believe, after that, and then the theater, and the administrative wing as well, and the last being the lobby, because we've seen a lot of pictures of that. We thought that would be, and the exteriors. All right. So whenever we're ready, why don't we start with the academic wing, sort of a standard classroom.
We were also trying to pull it up on the.
It's okay. Yeah.
It says host as disabled screen share.
Oh.
It wasn't doing.
And can you go get him, use your link from Sherry?
It was from Sherry, so.
Then run away. Where?
Somebody co-host, will you?
Yeah. Good work.
Oh, you're off.
Talk again.
Do you know how to give someone permission?
It never came up with the host.
Yeah, if you put my name. I like it.
Those are the plans you're working off of.
If you need the key, I have the key.
Yeah, the host, I guess. That's all I need.
That's all you need.
Paste it.
You're so good. Everything else.
Got it.
Hey, you're the host.
Got it?
You let everybody else?
You need the key? Do you have the key? You need the key?
Oh,
Okay, we're in.
Give me a-
All right.
And everybody else is in, okay. All right, well, while Tom is flipping to the page, you all actually haven't been in person, like, maybe ever or in a very long time, but just quickly to introduce our teammates here again.
Everybody.
Tom Faust, project architect, Alan DeHaan, senior project architect, Peter Reebok, civil engineer, works closely with Aaron. Hi, Tom. And we're expecting Brian Black any minute. He went to the other location, Helen Fantini, project manager. I don't know. The bond folks maybe want to do a quick
Go around.
go around.
Tim Baker,
Okay.
left field project manager.
Jim,
Tim O'Brien, Director of Facilities for Wakefield Public Schools.
couldn't remember who he was.
Steve Mailtown, Administrator.
Lorenzi. BBC. Chip Tarbell, BBC.
Joe Bertrand, Permanent Building Committee.
Tom Galvin from the Building Committee.
Frank Hayes with bond.
Dave Capaldo, Bond.
Numelli, Bond.
Harry Hammersley, bond.
Nagastow, Bond. Greg DiCarlo with Left Field.
Lynn Stapleton, left field.
All right.
So we've thrown a lot of paper at you this evening and we haven't unrolled it all, but as Joe mentioned, we'll start
Wants to. Of course, he can look wherever he
the
wants.
academic groups.
Yeah, we are.
But, is there a-
Let me do the overview sheet A100.
They've won what?
100.
A100 is the first floor plan, the overall first floor plan. And then after that, is focus on level one, academic wing, part BC.
Just that next page.
So page A101A, level one, part A. It's about 100 sheets in to the set when we get there.
Welcome to.
Those little rubber fingers so you don't
I'm good.
cut your
I
fingers.
was almost there.
So level one, plan part A.
So should I just walk through the general location of spaces program?
Yep.
So I'll go back to the main overall floor plan here. So when we speak of the academic wing, we mean primarily the angled piece of the building here. It's about 15 degrees off of the orthogonal. Main entry to the building is up here in the center. Dining commons is a large yellow space in the center up here. In part, you actually enter in part C. You can see the different parts delineated by the red dashed lines right here on the plans. So part C contains the primary admin wing, front office, conference room, principal, assistant principals, record office, and secretary spaces. Opposite that is the staff lunch mail copy room. The SRO's office is directly opposite as well. The Metco offices are down here, bottom of the staff lunch, and the nurse's suite is this pink area right here near the elevator port. Beyond that is part A down here. This is primarily the art wing with some general classrooms. Just to orient you on these general plans, these are the MSBA required colors for different program spaces. So anytime you see a light green, that is a typical classroom space. The light purple are art spaces. The admin office spaces are generally the tan color here. Gray are support spaces like bathrooms, storage, mechanical, et cetera. Darker green are DESI spaces. So that's special education spaces like the medically fragile classroom, resource room, et cetera. Those are scattered throughout the academic wing. The engineering computer program is the orange color here. So on the first floor, that consists of the engineering classroom, fabrication lab, and the Mac lab, which is mostly a computer space. Unfortunately, we're having some trouble in the model with this particular science room, but that should be a sort of dark brown green color for the science program. This is the physics lab. So that covers the first floor of the academic wing. So I can go to part A and cycle through these spaces. So again, to orient you, this is the art wing. This 2D art, and 3D art. So this is the pottery space with the kiln down here. 2D are the general art rooms. They each have a workroom with a spray booth and some other general support equipment, storage, et cetera. They all have immediate access to the outdoor common space here. They each have a door. We zoom in a little bit. They each have a door to the exterior here. Across from the art rooms is the digital lab. This is programmed primarily for things like Photoshop, other photo-focused artwork. There is a digital dark room, which is not a true dark room. That is really sort of a closed-off space with strong computers to do things like Photoshopping. So this is in the core center space with limited exterior light, which is what you'd want for a space like this. And then opposite this space are general classroom spaces, classroom. Egress stair A1 is located here. And the ELL classroom is here, so English language classroom. English language learners classroom, sorry. There is a vestibule that gives access to the outdoor learning space over here. I go back to the previous plan. Unfortunately, it doesn't show the civil plan, but there is an outdoor learning area here with tiered seating. And that's your primary access to that space through that vestibule. There is also the guidance office in part A, which consists of multiple single offices. There is the career center attached to the waiting area here. This has a lot of glazing, so there's real connection to the art wing and the rest of the school, along with the entry here. And special education offices are part of the guidance as well. So they have a conference room, records, and some additional offices. So that is the primary program in part A.
Okay, can you pick a classroom?
Like a typical.
Talk about a wall, whatever you've got planned, wall, boards, type of door, type of flooring.
Yeah, let me skip to the general classroom sheet here. Part B is probably the best place to look at this. So these are standard classrooms. They all generally have the same components in them. So on sheet 865, we have typical elevations for these spaces. Each classroom has 3 casework cabinets located typically near the entry. Each classroom has a 3-foot wide door with a side light. The side light varies in size depending on how much space we have, but it can be between 18 inches to 24 inches or even smaller in some cases.
Door is a solid door?
Yeah, solid wood door. Let me show you the elevations, probably the best way to understand this.
We're on 265, is that?
Yeah, fortunately, my numbers don't correlate exactly to the set, so it's a little difficult program, but.
Connected.
I just didn't know if they were half, that's why we're doing that, so you know, they half lights or they.
65.
You can go to whatever page you want.
Yeah, 265 is a general classroom. So I'll just give you basically a wall by wall run through. The teaching walls consist of, that is a secondary teaching wall. Primary teaching wall consists of a marker board with a short throw projector, which you see here, with tack boards on either side. Tack boards, they are sized differently depending on how much size we have in the teaching wall in each classroom.
Just out of, Helen, can you remind me, did we discuss this with the school and this is what they wanted with tack boards and whiteboards?
All of this has been reviewed.
Okay.
Started back into DT.
Oh, long time ago, I know, years at this point. I just thought tack boards were a thing of the past. Are you not finding that? Okay, I just thought everything was magnet at this point.
There's even map where
Yeah.
we're taking stuff up additional.
That's fine.
Yeah, and this is the standard orientation for all standard classrooms. You can see the typical entry door here. This is a solid wood door here.
Can the doors be locked on the inside?
They have a thumb turn so that anybody can lock it if there's a lockdown emergency. Standard hardware in all classroom spaces. Some doors have an automatic closer during like a lockdown situation, spaces like the auditorium, bigger spaces like that. But most are locked from the inside. Again, this is the standard door orientation, side light with a transom above here.
Absolutely.
Around the room, you'll have secondary teaching walls. Again, same general concept of marker boards and tack boards.
Doesn't like my
And
neck.
each room is a little bit different, but this is typically what you get in each space. There is a group mounted device, which essentially means things like light switches, thermostat, clock. This also can vary from space to space. So the reason we call them group mounted devices is because we have various group types like A, B, C, D, E that are designated for various spaces across the school. Again, more marker boards and tack boards. This is the typical casework. So these are tall cabinets in each classroom. And they're often grouped together, although in some cases we have to break it up a little bit with group of 2 and 1 location. Each general classroom also has a sloping ceiling. So from the inside, this would be the corridor side of the building. Over here would be the exterior. So if this was an exterior section, you'd see the window here. The window heads are quite high. So in order to maximize the amount of daylight that we get into the space, we angle the ceiling up towards the window.
Lighting, typical.
Typical.
You don't have to go to it, just.
Yeah, it's pendant lighting. Yeah, fairly
Pendant?
fairly typical.
So I can get a good lot of paper up in it?
Potentially. They're very slender, though. It would be very difficult to do.
And what's the lighting controls? Are you doing it with what's coming in through the windows, or how are you controlling it all?
So by code, we do have to control it with occupancy and vacancy sensors. So they will fluctuate depending on whether someone's in the space or not. I have to double check on the daylighting controls. I don't know, Brian, if you remember.
Yeah, there are photometric sensors that can, when there's enough light coming in, close down that zone that's out in the windows.
And typically, how many zones would you have in a classroom? Couple, three?
It wouldn't be many. It would be in the 2 to 3 range.
Okay.
I have to look at the lighting drawing.
That, I'm not trying to get into that detail, just as long as it's there.
No, we have it.
And flooring,
Linoleum is the standard flooring.
rolled, VCT, what,
Rolled vinyl, that
okay. And base,
rubber base.
color's been picked yet? In most of them, some have, but we haven't gotten a whole interiors board yet, right? I don't remember seeing one where we talked about floors and base colors.
Design focus.
Yeah, exterior and interior.
Well, it might be in the design focus group, but has it been presented anywhere other than that group yet?
No.
Okay, that's fine. I don't really care.
Generally, the approach is that most of the sort of background materials are neutral. So walls, floors, et cetera. We'll apply some accent paint in locations where, paint is easy to replace, right? You're gonna repaint over the years, so those tend to be in less permanent locations where the permanent tile, permanent flooring, more neutral and more likely to be, acceptable for everyone for years to come. It's not like the avocado green that you hear about.
And, okay, good. Wall thickness, 1/2-inch sheet rock,
5/8.
So
5/8 everywhere? And what in the hallway?
It's several.
Well, but typical.
So corridor
Yeah.
walls and then probably talk about the.
I mean, so corridor walls, I'm thinking hip check proof, right? When boys get rambunctious or kids get I shouldn't be, when kids get rambunctious and they knock each other into walls, we don't want holes. And backpacks.
Yeah, so corridors are tile.
Okay,
Yeah, 7 feet from floor to top of tile is about 7 foot, 7'1". So that's consistent throughout all corridors.
That tile backer board behind it also, so that's another level of, if not.
okay.
What kind of technology for an average classroom is it?
There is the short throw projector, just standard in each classroom. So that will project an image onto the teaching wall, essentially be interactive with that teaching wall. That's standard across all teaching spaces at minimum.
Does it make sense? I know we said we were gonna go to each wing and, do specialties afterwards, but like here we have, if we're back to 101A and we've got art classrooms and stuff like that, or the digital lab, should we just go sheet by sheet and touch base on those classrooms?
Yeah, in
So
terms of.
we're not jumping back and forth 1,000 times?
Yeah, because I unfortunately have limitations with this program for jumping back and forth. So
Is that good?
it is easier to go.
Go sheet by sheet?
It is.
Do you mind doing that?
I do not mind.
Okay. So if you could, so that gets us through the common classroom. ELL classroom, I'm assuming is pretty similar,
Very similar.
okay? What about one of the, so everything, even in small group meeting areas, is a door side light, a door and a door side light. There's no, are there any spaces that have half light doors? Or are they all solid wood doors? No, half light. Well, if it doesn't jump out at you, probably not, or a real rare case. So most of it's solid wood door and side light, even in a small private meeting room.
Sometimes we'll have doors with vision panel, but if it's an occupied room, if you have a half light, right, you're gonna need to put a mini blind on the door, and that's not gonna hold up over time.
No, I agree.
Just-
That's why I'm,
You know, that's first-hand experience.
And those normally get located where we don't have the, put a side light, if there's just so much in the room, such as mark boards and so forth.
okay.
But that's a very small.
Can you run through just the typical art classroom?
Typical art. So this consists of both the art space itself and the workroom. Let me go into a little more detail here. So the workrooms contain a spray booth, a large basin sink, and storage. So those are, it's a sort of multifunctional workroom space. There are countertops on both ends of the room, along with upper and lower cabinet storage, sinks across the space, of course, movable art tables they don't show in the architectural plans or the furniture plans. There is also a ceiling height grid for hanging artwork and other things from the space. So there is actually no finished ceiling in the art rooms. You can see the structure above. There's a K13 finish so that it's sound absorbent and the space doesn't echo.
So what's a case? Is that a spray on?
It basically looks like spray fireproofing, but it's acoustic. Yeah. It's
Well,
absorptive
Well,
property.
asbestos works for everybody.
It's just wool fiber now, isn't it?
I thought I was back in the 50s. Sorry.
All right,
now.
Kurt. I got my card out, don't worry.
Is that recorded?
Absolutely. That's why
Absolutely.
I have to remember, I'm being recorded. I gotta be careful.
Can I ask you about the technology in the classrooms? Is it wired in and how's it, is it wireless? It's all hardwired?
Robust Wi-Fi throughout.
Yeah.
So.
Anybody else have anything
Yeah,
else they want to know about on this page?
the floor finish in the art rooms is epoxy as opposed to linoleum.
Okay.
Yeah, so something more robust.
The window blinds?
There are window blinds in every space. Yeah, they're shades.
Is there kilns in there?
The kiln is in the 3D art room here. Yeah, there are two kilns. There are also potter wheels in the 3D art room. They're not showing here. 'Cause they are also considered FF&E.
So is one art room more for pottery and
Yeah,
so they'll be specific?
yeah. A1047 is the pottery room specifically,
Okay.
and then these other two are more general art.
Or like,
Very similar layout.
for like administration offices and guidance counselors, it's the acoustics differently in those rooms by
Yeah,
design these?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
yeah. They're a little more robust, so that it's particularly in guidance. These have multiple layers of drywall and that insulation inside the walls, and acoustic sealant.
And I know you said that a sloped ceiling. What's the ceiling made out of?
It's ACP standard tile.
2x2, 2x4,
2x2.
2x2.
Yeah, that's consistent throughout the project 2x2 grid.
Okay. And a common USG or
Armstrong Optima. Yeah, it's a standard Armstrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
not one that we have to wait 6 weeks to get in production or replace.
Well, remember, there's basis of design that in public bid, 3 equals.
Is what?
3 equals, right? So you don't know exactly what you're going to get until.
But we will when we will, right. We have to accept the or equal.
Assuming it meets all the criteria that are that is outlined in the spec.
So I hope easily found and not special It's one of the criteria. I'm not reading the spec. Carefully.
It's only 4,000 pages.
You can turn to the next page if you want.
While we're doing that, Doug? Doug is on Zoom?
Yes, I am, Joe.
Okay, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to speak up.
Will do.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Yep. Joe, Amy McLeod's with us as well. So
Oh, okay, I'm only seeing you.
no worries, probably
You're
because she's,
having technical issues here, or I am. Someone else is.
Okay, so now we're turning to for us 101B.
1B. So Part B, again, I'll just quickly run through the spaces here. We have standard classrooms along the west side here, the medically fragile space at the corner. Typical classroom, the science classroom, which is specifically the physics lab here, engineering classroom, and engineering fabrication lab across from the classroom.
Just a quick side note on this arrangement. So we're designing not only for the immediate use, but also for the future evolution into more of an interdisciplinary arrangement of academic programs. So moving away from departmental organizations of this is the science wing, for example. So general classrooms on the other side of physics would naturally be potentially math classrooms. But there's an ability to put these different disciplines all together around this one cluster. With hands-on learning in the center of the space. So the engineering lab is where machinery is used to create projects. Robotics is done in there. So it's just for background reference in terms of the programming for that evolution to take place over the years. That's possible, or it can be a departmental layout.
And just wrapping up the general review of Part B. This is typical on all three floors. The teacher planning space here is towards the center of the core of the academic wing. So there's space for 20 teachers along the perimeter here with 2 private phone booths for private meetings.
I can say I've never seen that before, but I think it's a great idea.
A group teacher room like this. Yeah.
No, the phone booths.
Yeah, that was a specific request during programming to have.
Okay.
Group bathrooms are adjacent, and then part of the nurses suite bleeds into Part B here. And we have 2 egress stairs that carry from level 1 to level 3.
Can you talk about the Mac lab and the engineering lab, please?
Mac lab is primarily a computer lab space. It doesn't look very different on plan because a lot of this is FF&E furniture and equipment.
Yeah.
But has standard, just like all the other classrooms, it has standard storage with casework,
What's the floor?
linoleum as well.
Okay. So my question is if you're thinking about rolled chairs and all of that, do you think linoleum will hold up fine in a very active, what I would see as an active and mobile classroom?
Yeah, and then we coordinate that with the package and spec the correct
The
line.
correct wheels and glides. Yeah, okay. Engineering fabrication, what's special, anything special in that room?
So a lot of things going on here equipment wise. I have to check the list, but we have things like a CNC router, laser cutter, drill press. It is a fabrication lab,
Okay.
something the school doesn't have right now. So it's almost kind of like borderline wood shop in that sense, more traditional wood shop, but a little more high end with things like laser cutters. Sink, storage, mop sink as well. There is no finished ceiling in here either. This also has a K13 and a acoustic barrier ceiling so that no noise will transfer from level 1 up to the spaces above. And I think this is also an epoxy finish in this space. All of the science labs and fabrication lab have epoxy finish, so something very, very robust, needs to be clean.
So the labs will have an epoxy finish, the classrooms will have, an engineering classroom will have a basic linoleum floor.
Engineering classroom also has epoxy, I believe. I know the science labs do. I 50/50 on engineering classroom. I have to double check, but I believe this is also epoxy.
Are these rooms card access? Like, are these rooms with all the engineering equipment? Like, is there an extra security protocol on some of these rooms, or is it all just keys and?
Yeah, we don't have extra security. For after hours, we do have security grills that will prevent anybody from going back here for that added level of security. But we don't have access control on these particular spaces.
Like into the engineering fabric lab, it's a double door. Any windows on those doors? That one of the cases where we have a half light or something?
So we do have a small side light at both of these doors, but we actually have a
I
larger.
thought that was part of the casework, sorry.
Yeah. We have a larger window. If you see on the plan HM11, those are two windows across from each other so that one teacher can monitor both spaces as needed. So there's actually quite a bit of visibility into these rooms. And on the acoustic side of the engineering fabrication lab, you'll see that we have a double wall back here, double wall here as well. Again, this is a particularly noisy space, so it's a very robust construction, top to bottom, and on all the walls here.
So is hallway BH 102, are those lockers along that area?
Yes, we have 200 day use lockers. So these are shareable. Essentially, students would check out a locker for the day. And these are on level 1 and 2 in this general core area.
And how big are these lockers? Will they hold a backpack?
I think they're
Are they wide enough for a backpack?
15 by 15. It's
15s, not 12s.
Size on that. I'll find that. Yeah, I'll go to 256.
Memorize the number.
Screened or solid?
It's got good distance vision. Exactly. Set it back up.
A lot of tile. There they are.
That's right.
Okay, so it's just vented, not screened, but double. Okay.
Yeah, they're a double tier, 15 by 15 lockers.
How does that work to sign out, to check in and out of a locker? I'm just curious.
They would sign, I believe the current thinking is they sign out at the admin office and they are given, we are not doing key card access for these. So it would be my understanding is essentially a key would be given for these lockers or a code would be given.
And that's how that works now? Doug?
I don't think they have that.
So this is Amy. Can you hear me?
Hi, Amy. Yep.
Hi.
Thanks.
So currently our students really don't access their lockers regularly. A lot of schools have gotten rid of lockers entirely because kids don't really access lockers anymore. But we wanted to have some day use lockers for kids who may come in. They may have an extra bag for an after school activity, or they might be storing, books or a project in there for a day before they get to their class. So we'll devise a system that'll be a sort of check-in, check-out system that they'll get a day pass from the locker, from the main office. So a code so that they can use the locker for the day. There'll still be athletic lockers in the locker room, and that's what most of our students use for their athletic things that they're bringing to school. So we feel like, go ahead. Sorry, Chip.
No, these will be push button codes as compared to a key.
Yeah, my understanding is they're going to be coded.
That's correct.
So that the kids can do a push button code. Right now we use old fashioned turn lockers if the kids use them at all. So.
Okay.
Okay.
And 200's enough?
I think it's plenty. Given how many kids use lockers now, I think that's going to be an upgrade. I've talked to a couple of folks in newer schools, some of the principals in newer schools that have gone to sort of this system, and they report the same thing. Kids just aren't using lockers the way they used to.
Makes sense. Thank
A
you.
lot of them have everything on their MacBooks too, or their laptops. So really, they're just carrying around their laptop in a backpack with a laptop in it for the day. So it's a little bit different.
Great. Thank you.
Is that, I just have a question about the lock. Is that gonna be like, like a hotel safe where you close it, punch in a code, and that ends up being your code for the, okay.
For the day.
Well, I was just concerned.
I don't know
code
how
was
they
being given
change
out
it.
and it was that code for that locker.
Yeah.
So we'll have to just keep an eye on that, I guess.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
What are all the AC1s, G1, G2, G3? Are those individual conference rooms, part of the SPED program?
EC. Sorry, where, oh, yeah,
Part
yeah,
of the
yeah,
section.
yeah, these are individual offices for the guidance suite. So G-1, 2, 3 are guidance offices. AC, Sci,
Okay.
those are special education.
Those are adjustment counselor offices and school psychologist offices.
Amy, are you concerned that those all have side lights next to the doors? Is that a privacy issue, or do you need side lights because of the privacy issue?
Sorry, Chip, ask the question again, concerned that they have
So
what
so
on them?
the question I have is, do you have side lights in all those rooms so that somebody can look in? Or do you have, or I guess that's really it. I mean, do you ever need privacy in any of those so somebody doesn't see who's in there? Or do you have to be able to see who's in there?
I think it's important to be able to see who's in there. I mean, not, there won't be that many people accessing that hallway anyway. So it's a very private space. Not much different than what's there now. My bigger concern is the noise. Kids know that there's, meetings that take place in guidance offices. Any bigger meetings with parents wouldn't take place in those offices anyway. So I think it will be fine.
The windows on the hallway,
Those are actually clear story windows.
so they're higher.
Yeah, nobody can see through those. Really just to get some borrowed light between the corridors and the guidance offices.
And I don't think we need to go through the bathrooms because we all spent time on that a couple different times during regular meetings. to
They
know
haven't
what that is.
Exactly the same.
Are these like wall pen where you can see all the way into the bathrooms?
They're not as open as Waltham. There was a request to
Make
that-
them wider.
that end wall of the lab space a little bit wider. So that when you're at the sink, you're not seen from the hallway. A little bit different, but same concept.
What is the flooring in like the secretary's office and those offices up off the hallway in the right-hand corner?
The finishes in here, they are carpet. I can go to the finished plan.
Squares or roll goods?
Those are square, those are tile. Carpet tile, yeah.
In the nurse's office, what's the floor?
Nurses, I believe, is linoleum as well. I can go to these. Here. Almost there. Here we go. These are the finished plans. Offices, sorry, I take that back. The offices are actually LVT. There is carpet in the conference room, though.
PT, okay. Anybody else have any questions on that sheet?
You gonna go over the front entry when you do the auditorium?
In the in the lobby.
Yeah, how that all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
That after classrooms, yeah. And the learning stair will do. So we'll move to 101C, I guess.
The 101C, this contains the dining commons, cafeteria meeting space, learning stair. Underneath the learning stair is the school store and banking lab and the business lab.
All right, I think we'll come back
After that, so,
because I don't think there's many, 101C, I don't think has many classrooms.
no, it's really more staff lunch.
And administrative, principal, those areas, is that going to be vinyl flooring or is that going to be carpet?
That's LVT with the exception of the conference room. That's carpet.
I think this is mostly athletic. So now we got to get to the second floor.
Yeah, where's the second floor?
102A to part A.
Approved. Level 2 overview,
Yeah, we can do 102.
A102.
Level 2, for general orientation, the learning stair coming up from the dining commons is in the center here. From here, the academic wing is to the left, the athletics and other adjacent spaces are to the right. The media center is here. The sawtooth glazing that is above the main entry is in the double height space of the media center. There is a library classroom, which is really, it's part of the media center. There's no wall distinguishing this space, but programmatically we have a classroom setting here with a teaching wall on this wall. Circulation desk is at the center here, 2 small group rooms. The technology support office is here with direct connection to both the corridor and to the media center. Fulby Archives is attached here to the media center as well, and a makerspace. The makerspace is primarily more of like a general, I'd almost rather use the word crafting space. It doesn't have things like laser cutters, and that's more in the fabrication lab. And then there's the librarian's office. There are many, many general classrooms in the light green color here all across this floor. And 2 groups of science rooms, one on part B and one on part A. The science rooms on part A, they open out into a greenhouse, which is on the 2nd floor terrace. The terrace is split in 2. There's a smaller space here outside science classroom 2041. And the larger terrace space, which connects back to the main hallway, the school, and also the LGI, which is the large group instruction space. This space can contain roughly 2 full classrooms with multiple teaching walls across the space, along with a very large projector and projection screen. So this is a double height space. You'll see the opening on the 3rd floor here. This is a large glazed corner that opens out into the main stair. So it's a very visible space. And stair C2 is an open stair from level 1 to level 3. Business classroom, the STL apartment and teaching spaces are here. This is another special education space. Contains a de-escalation room and in-suite bathrooms as well.
What's the location of the limestone tank?
Of the chip tanks?
Yeah.
They are in every science classroom. There's no centralized tank.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, so they're at each sink.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And it was decided no gas, no propane, all electric, right?
No gas in the building at all.
Yeah, no, I knew that. That was stupid, Joe.
They were talking about it for the science class for a while.
We were for a while, but then we said no gas, so we went all electric.
That's what gets us to meet the new.
New energy code. What's the terrace made out of?
These are concrete pavers.
A roof underneath or?
And then, yeah,
Yeah, so waterproof space, waterproof, roof area, that's, other than that, her tables that are set up on pedestals that are at the same level as the floor and the door, so that we walk out on it at the same level.
What about maintenance of the drains under the pavers?
The pavers are, you're able to pop the pavers out,
Have you ever tried to pop a concrete paver?
not personally.
Okay. I think every architect should go try to pop a paver that's been put on this terrace and then see if you ever spec them again. I mean, they're about 100 pounds each. And you probably have a quarter to half an inch in between them. So they're a little tough to, but as long as we know where all the drains are and can specify that so that they can actually get clean. Otherwise it will flood.
Standard height railing along the perimeter.
Yeah, this is a brick parapet with a precast edge. Yeah, you guys thought, yeah. Yeah.
And science classroom 4 is the vinyl floor again, right?
Science or,
Or is this talk?
yeah, all science or epoxies.
All science, okay. And a Mac lab's not considered science, right?
Yeah.
That's engineering.
Yeah, it's not going to get the abuse that science.
Okay.
That greenhouse unit, that's down that bottom part, that's the side, or that's fine.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that second.
That's vinyl, like that's the
Yeah.
absolute size of the greenhouse.
Yeah.
Maintenance, like, has anyone dealt with a greenhouse before? Yeah.
Yeah,
have you?
I've not dealt with the maintenance of a greenhouse before, but we'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
Height, 42, yeah. Nobody's jumping, yeah.
That's the height of the terrace,
42 inches, yeah.
42 inches.
So that doesn't have to be a rail. It's a wall. I think that does it for typical classrooms, right?
Yeah.
You go back to the learning center?
You want to start on specialty spaces
No,
now?
just, I have one question.
To the LGI,
Not the learning center, the media center, whatever it's
the
called,
media center.
the library, whatever. 45,000 years ago. The Volpe room, is that? Remember we had that question about the table and all that stuff? That's gonna fit, right? Right?
We've expanded the space to fit the.
I wanted verbally, right? Right. Thank you very much.
In the science classrooms, are you figuring the teachers are just on the side somewhere, or it's an FF&E for a teacher table? There's no fixed.
Teacher table is movable.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
What they get is a raisable table and a lectern that can be moved around the room. It's very
Okay.
lightweight. Usually we have wheels on 2 legs, so it's in the standard position. It's not going to go anywhere, but if you lift up the other legs, you can roll it around. They also typically get sort of a small filing cabinet so they can bring their immediate materials around with them. They also get some storage space in that teacher planning that's permanent for every teacher.
Perfect, thank you. Sinks, stainless steel,
Yes. Yeah.
countertops,
That is epoxy. Yeah, epoxy countertops.
epoxy.
For the science, they're usually.
Yeah. The black I don't know what color it's gonna be, but an epoxy one, okay.
Okay. Typical science rooms, I can actually go to an enlarged plan for this, although it'll take me a minute to find it, but I can walk you through what they typically have. We have countertops and sinks all along the corridors. Teaching walls generally on the corridor side. This actually is not code required, but is an MSBA requirement that the science rooms have 2 means of egress. So each one will have 2 doors. There is an emergency shower, eye wash station, generally closer to the door here. More cabinetry, more sinks, and things like fire extinguisher, fire blanket, first aid kit. They're all along here near the entry of each space. There's always a prep space in between 2 science rooms, and that is where the access for the fume hoods is. So these are 2 fume hoods that open into the classrooms here. Refrigerator, more sinks, counters, more cabinetry, emergency shower as well with a floor drain. Underneath each emergency shower is a floor drain. And more things like more safety items like fire extinguishers, goggle decontaminator, cabinets, things of that nature. That's standard in each classroom or grouping.
A good spread of custodial, like janitor's closets on all these floors.
Yeah, each wing has custodial closets, so they're fairly large. The intent is to be able to park the floor buffer in each of these. So in the academic wing, we've reserved space on levels 1, 2, 3 for the buffer. So you have these larger custodial closets. We also have smaller ones near the group toilets. So this is an example here. These are also domestic water heaters in this space, but standard mop sink and janitor storage closet. When we get to the parts D, E, F, we also have janitor's closets there as well. And the larger back of house space is over there.
Where do you guys, anybody have any questions on general classrooms, science classrooms, engineering labs, anything we've gone over so far? Seeing none, what's your pleasure, Mr. Chair? What do you want to go to next?
The gyms.
Specialty spaces.
Yeah.
The gyms.
We haven't, especially in the academic ones, and we've got them all?
No, we haven't done, we've done all the classrooms,
Okay,
but we haven't, and we've done all the specialty arts and all of that.
right,
But now we're into lobby, gyms. Gyms,
the athletic area.
I have to guess.
We'll do.
We have numbers that we can go to?
So 102, sorry, if we go back to level 1, we can start with the locker room and gym. So A100 is the overall color plan. Most of the gym spaces are in part D. They do a little bit for E as well on level 2. But most of these spaces will be in the blue color that you see here. So off of the main entry and cafeteria, we have a multi-purpose studio. Off of that is the fitness studio and the trainer's office. We have storage scattered throughout, athletic storage here, larger athletic storage over here. These are the lighter blue colors. Boys locker room and girls locker room. The locker rooms are split between the athletic lockers and the PE lockers. And health office, coaches' offices, health offices are also here as well. The AD and assistant office is over here near the secondary, what we're calling the athletic entry into the building. So when you have a visiting team, they can enter through this space here and enter into stair D2, take them to the main gym, or they can enter directly into the auxiliary gym here. On level 2.
All right, so we're on 101D.
Yeah, 101D would be the spaces I was just looking at. Just very briefly, the primary piece of program here on level 2 is the main gym. And then we have some health offices, OT, PT, and adaptive PE. I'll go back to 101D.
So one of the discussions we had that I was curious about where we ended up was the multi-purpose studio, which is also the wrestling room. And what I see for finishes here is that you have fixed balance beam bars, dance bars on the side. What's going to happen in the wrestling seasons to those things? I thought we had talked about portable or movable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you want me to jump in.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so this actually is being revised as we speak. We just got approval to change this space and expand it a little larger to fit 9 wrestling practice mats in this space.
Okay,
That involves also having mobile bars and mirrors that can fit in this, a revised athletic storage space.
I don't have to rant now.
Yeah, just got approval on that today, so I haven't made that change yet, but
Who gave you that approval?
that was through Amy and Brendan had reviewed that plan.
Okay. So any changes that get made like this have to come through the PBC, right?
Yeah, we just have it's a very new change. This morning,
Okay.
so.
So you're taking space from the fitness studio?
Yeah, we're not really impacting the use of the fitness studio. There was a little bit of extraneous space here that was primarily for circulation, but we aren't displacing any equipment from the fitness studio in the new plan.
Okay. Can you just walk us through, a typical locker room? What type of lockers, floor to ceiling? Are these rented out lockers or permanent lock? Kids get assigned them per season? How many do we have?
Can't speak to how the lockers are assigned, but
No, that's school thing, but
as far as the typical plan goes, the team locker, in the case of the girls' room, is on this side here. These are all the larger athletic lockers, all across the perimeter. The PE lockers are a little bit smaller. They're on this side.
yeah, but I'm trying to.
Between those two spaces.
What page?
Their interior elevations,
Is there
the
interior?
lockers,
Oh, yeah.
or sections through
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I just need to find
I
that.
just don't see it on this page.
It's
Fun one.
40, A1 407.
Wash the floor. Epoxy floor, I'm assuming?
It's actually a rubber floor. Rubber.
Okay.
So this is girls' locker. You just see typical elevation for lockers here. See the bench down below. It's block wall throughout the space. 2-tier lockers.
Just out of curiosity, is there any reason you go solid fronts instead of wired fronts on these?
We run across that.
Well, these are the PE
These are sports lockers, right?
Sports lockers.
lockers we typically.
Yeah,
use
these are
for the athletic lockers. Okay, by a man.
You think this is just drawn wrong or?
No.
yeah, 1051, 13B2. Yeah, I have to look at the spec. I mean, it might be one of those things just around the family, it doesn't spread
Those are just vents.
when it's transparent too, so there's something going on.
The glass flapper.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
That's a note I would check on.
Yeah.
Thank you. Locker rooms are bad enough. And have we bumped up the airflow in these locker rooms to like 4 times the normal?
we're meeting code.
Well, have we gone beyond code?
I would have to talk to the mechanical engineer about.
Check to see what that is. I mean, meeting code usually doesn't do it for a locker room. Now, I know kids aren't using locker rooms like they used to, so I may be outdating myself.
Is there a CFM you have in mind, Jim?
I don't, I'd have to remember what the code is, and then it's like 50 more than that we found works. So I don't have it in the top of my head. But the mechanical engineers can also tell you just from an airflow standpoint, what might be better. I just know that the code doesn't get the air flowing enough. Now, I also know that half the kids, like on track teams and everything else, change in the back of their cars. I mean, the world of locker rooms, like Amy had mentioned in lockers, has changed a lot since I built my last school. So even since the Galvin, things have changed a lot.
Stop steamed up showering, because that's not happening either.
Yeah, it doesn't. And God forbid you have gang, don't, no. Okay, yeah.
It looks like you've got perforated door faces with the diamond perforations for that.
Oh, in the spec? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we can change the
Team and PE.
Athletic metal lockers, so. Looks like that's the only.
And what do you guys have now? You know what's in the locker room? I don't.
For athletics,
Yeah.
PE or team.
Are they mesh or are they solid?
they're not.
Between the
They're
two.
wire for
Doesn't sound like
to let the air flow again.
Yeah, everything in the locker room will be those perforated ones, it looks like.
Yeah, this is into that way. This- See, we've already done ABC, so this is D. Anybody got questions on any of this lower level athletics? Nobody's curious. Marching band storage, I like that. And that gets us, does marching band storage get us to the outside in any convenient way?
The closest.
Down the hallway and
Yeah, the closest.
out EH 113 maybe?
Yeah, it would, the easiest way to get outside for marching band storage would be through this vestibule here near the AD office. So it's just down this corridor.
So where would they
the
back
front
their,
of the building?
where would they back their truck up to get all their drums and rolling stuff onto a truck?
Oh, but well, you could use the loading dock. I mean,
How do I get there?
loading dock is part F. So if you come out this door for the marching band here, you go down the page and then over to the right, that gets.
EH 113,
It's over here.
Yeah, EH 113 hallway.
and that gets me out to the loading dock?
Yeah, that goes out to the loading dock. Yeah.
Okay. Not perfect, but it gets you there.
That one hallway going to the front is gonna be a main highway for all the teams in and out for practices, right? Like that hallway is gonna have a lot of traffic, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is really, the primary athletic corridor. And I would say this, it's very likely that this stair here will be the primary means of getting from level 1 to 2 for athletics.
Tiles in the wall, like that's throughout, right?
That's the same.
Yeah.
Some of these gyms are marked out, right?
What?
Some of these gyms, the auxiliary gyms are markings like a basketball.
No, this isn't, this is a locker room.
No, okay, but the
Locker room.
auxiliary.
This is
gyms,
fitness studio, so that's all they.
That's all blank, that's right.
And
They don't
this
have
is dance and wrestling.
Okay.
Upstairs, and this is gymnastics, thank you.
Okay.
So this gets set up.
None of it is set up and, like
This-
in a normal gym with a,
No, this is the next gym,
that's the
the
big
next
one.
one, yeah.
All right.
Okay,
You guys have any concern about width of that corridor, given the fact that it is gonna be the main thoroughfare?
It's a fairly generous corridor at 10 feet. I mean, that's our standard width.
Oh, no, the one going
The
up
one going
to the, to
outside.
the exit door.
This one here. Looks like there actually is a little bit of room. We could possibly make that larger, but I don't,
And if all the teams are coming in there and things like that.
Column there.
yeah, just I think the columns is the issue, but we, I don't know, we could look at possibly adding this somehow.
Easier to fill the tomatoes as visiting teams when it's all in space.
Actually, that's an interesting thing. Is there any visiting team space for
Um,
changing?
Dedicated space?
Yeah,
Shouldn't there be?
Nothing labeled as such.
so there's no visiting team locker rooms?
Yeah, I mean, what if the basketball team from, Reading, God forbid, shows up?
I mean, I
Where do they go?
assuming.
They all come dressed now.
Do they?
Yeah,
Really?
except for football. And football comes half. Football comes lowers and they throw their shoulder pads on. It's,
The PE locker room,
We didn't.
after hours, PE locker rooms would be available.
What?
The P.
The PE
Is that-
side of the locker room would be available for the other team. So that they just have smaller lockers.
just the way of the world these days, I guess.
I'm just looking for.
Really?
We can, it's absolutely open. You
That's
can
true.
hear
I
them
know. They're
talking.
tough enough to get a gym.
Locker rooms are the most generous thing that they do. I don't know why. They seem almost oversized.
We'll come back to WCAT. Any other questions?
WC.
Here. Okay, so let's go to 101. Let's stay on the first floor. Put us to 102E.
101.
101E. Excuse me. What I'm missing, what's here? So I guess that's 101E, right?
And then it's under the administration.
Well, I'm trying to get to the rest of WCAT.
That's part F. So that's for F. Yeah.
101 F.
Seen it.
Okay. Okay. We'll do 101E. You want to start talking about the theater?
This is the music suite. The 670 seat auditorium is here. The main entry is off of the dining commons, which is cut off on the page. There is a secondary entry exit at the other end of the house. These are all fixed seats. This slopes down to about exactly 3 feet from level 1. There is the fixed stage is at this line here. The curved part is a demountable stage that can demount into a depression, set 1 foot into the lower slab. So this can move up and down as needed. This is the stage itself. These are some curtains and rigging that are shown on the plan. Proscenium opening. There is a rear hallway here that was specifically requested by the Performing Arts Department so that students could pass through during a performance without causing any acoustical concerns. That connects to this end of the stage as well as the opposite end and also directly into the dressing and makeup room. Dressing makeup has what you'd expect in a space like this, some sinks, countertop, mirrors. There is an ADA bathroom adjacent to it. This is the dimming closet for a multitude of electrical equipment. Workshop storage. There's a slight revision of the plan. We cleaned this up a little bit just recently, moved this wall in so we get a little bit more space. There is a spray booth, sink, slop sink here as well, and there is a storage nook for the orchestra shell back here. Across,
Where is the orchestra shell?
if you look at workshop storage, there's a tag for A3
Eighth.
270.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that nook back here.
And
Cross,
set storage is where?
Right, that was,
it would be in the workshop storage space here as well.
how about if the sets have to go places? How do they go? In other words, high school kids are involved in drama contests and things in various schools. And so, and I know my daughter was involved in, and my son was, and they go to other places. How do they take that set out of that area onto
Right down
a
here.
truck?
Onto a truck.
That's at
Is it-
EH 113
is this the-
again.
Yeah, that's the access. Yeah, EH 113 will take you back to
They
the
take
loading
it up and then over?
Yeah, and these are
Okay.
all oversized doors. They're 8 feet wide by 8 feet tall. So that you can get
Okay.
more things through. Yeah, all the way from here to the loading dock.
And this plan got vetted by everybody in theater numerous times, right?
Yes.
Is there no such thing as a green room anymore? Or is that dressing and makeup?
It'd primarily be dressing makeup. I could see them also using the chorus room directly opposite. Or even the MIDI lab.
I guess my question would be now, if we do think that they're gonna use the chorus room, technology-wise, will there be speakers in there that will be connected to the theater, stuff like that?
Band and chorus have very robust AV playback, recording, all of that is in this space here, both of these.
So if they can hear what's on the stage in the area,
I have to double check if it has that capability, but.
that's important.
Yeah, so I
You
have,
don't want to miss your cue, you know. Where does the stage is going to have an expansion?
yeah, it's a demountable stage that
Right.
depresses into the slab.
And where does it go?
Well, it depresses down into the floor.
It goes into the
Yeah,
floor.
so you don't need to store it anywhere inside the
Okay.
storage room or.
right.
How far does it depress?
That's 1 foot.
1 foot?
Yeah.
So there's no extra pit?
No. What, where are when the chorus and the music play and the band plays and they have risers, where are they?
We have the chorus risers are in the chorus room.
They're going to be in the chorus room?
Yeah, they're this corner here.
And that's enough room for them and for the rehearsals and stuff?
Yeah, we vetted this
Checked with
with the.
Mr. Bankert?
Yeah.
And what's the lab in between?
MIDI lab?
Yeah.
The keyboard.
Yeah. Mostly keyboards. Yeah.
I know there was a question about the capacity of the band room. Do we know what that capacity is?
Yeah, let me check the occupant load. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I do have this number.
Square footage should be around 3,000. That was one that we actually doubled the size. Remember back?
Right, because
Because of our band.
the band gets
So
to be
cool.
huge.
Right, the MSBA typical band room can only seat about 60,
Right.
and we needed.
Is it 100? I think it's more, isn't it?
It is more, it's, okay.
I think there's more than 100 kids in that band.
Yeah, the maximum occupant load is 146 in the band. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's about.
Square, of course, these plans don't show it. Let me,
Is this where we talk about theater seating and the theater and acoustics and all that fun stuff?
square footage is 2,929 square feet.
The actual stage is made out of what? Flooring.
The stage itself is a painted hardboard, standard stage finish.
What does that mean to us novices that don't know what a standard stage finish is?
You can nail it down to it.
You speak to like a standard stage,
Nail sets to that.
a hardboard finish.
Is it a plywood? Is it a?
Yeah, this stage.
It's usually hardboard open, so you can nail through.
So it's a hard thing.
So it's replaceable.
A regular
Yeah, like,
hardwood floor.
no,
No, only from usually from the thrust forward.
It's in like plywood that mason.
yeah.
exactly.
When it gets screwed up, you strip it off, put a new piece down,
Easily replaceable.
Oh, okay.
roll
No.
with black paint.
In the Galvin, we have the wings and stuff in the ceiling, for noise deflection and absorption. What do we have for absorption and for, noise?
So the orchestra shell does a lot of that amplification, but this is a mobile unit that can go into storage when it's not needed. But the actual auditorium acoustics,
Right.
section here.
Oh, there's a section, oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have done quite a lot. Oh, I got lucky with this one, actually. Landed pretty close to it.
Who's your acoustical engineer?
Ascentech, we have done a lot of coordination with them. This is, the key
You know,
space as
the
far
Galvin?
as their level of coordination goes.
Touch it.
We've studied all of the angles, finishes at the ceiling clouds. You can see these here. It's all been fine tuned to work with the acoustician's recommendations. It's a very busy drawings. There's a lot going on, but these pieces here are acoustical drapes. So these can absorb sound as it passes by these clouds, so it doesn't reverberate above. That's also a big piece of this. The back wall is more absorptive than it is reflective, also to avoid any kind of echoing. The side,
Catwalks on both sides?
Hmm?
Catwalks on both sides?
there's one catwalk that runs through the center of the space, and then it branches off in two directions to get to the side lighting. And then it rises up to get over to the loading gallery back here on the stage.
How do you get on the catwalk?
The catwalk is through the control room, which is over here. I can show that in the plan in a second. There's also a ladder here. You can see the ladder cage. So there's access directly from the stage.
But is there a way to walk up there and carry
Yeah.
lights and things like that?
Yeah, so,
It's through the control room, isn't it?
yeah, this is the control room here, so you can see the stair access.
Is there any reason to have the ladder and just get rid of the
Emergency.
Well, it's really second means.
Secondary
Yeah.
don't want the kids up there, that's the problem.
Well, we have a ladder guard at the bottom. It's locked. Yeah. So somebody would need to open it for them to get up the ladder.
As well as a door on the stairwell.
Yeah.
Talk quickly about the chairs in the auditorium.
The fixed seating, I will admit that I'm not up on the final selection at the moment. I know they are a blue fabric finish. I don't know, Alan, have you thought?
Have we made this? I mean, we may not have made it yet.
Fabrics, they're definitely fabric.
Yeah,
Okay.
Have
the
we-
wood backing, yeah.
The question I always have about the preserving the names that are on the chairs.
Yeah.
How are we going to do that?
So somebody will need to survey every name in the existing building. We can't take the plaques off of the armrest and put them on the new chairs, but they can
Why not?
recreate that. Well, the stairs, the chairs, the new chairs, they're from a different manufacturer. We'll have a standard way of adding nameplates to that. So they can recreate the names. We just need to give them a list of names and they can put them on the new chairs.
We're not gonna forget that, right?
No, I have that on the salvage list. So that's.
So the
That's a
question
yes,
I have, are
right?
we gonna do?
That's a yes.
Are we gonna do a section? What do you think the best way?
I don't know yet. We'll have to think about how to do that.
Okay.
Whether we do it,
The
You know,
whole
all
right
those names
side.
that are on there.
Names on the wall too.
names on the wall too.
It's on the wall that all donated to the
Yeah.
Roaming Arts
Yeah.
Center.
Yeah, so there's
How
all
many are there?
of the things.
Yeah.
Hundreds. Oh, hundreds,
Yeah.
hundreds. There's a lot.
I don't know, there's hundred.
Yeah,
Only
there-
Oh, yeah, 'cause of
Oh, yeah, there are.
No, on the wall there are, but the bought chair, I mean, there's
about
only
100.
how many seats?
I would say a lot of, maybe most of the seats.
Are there?
Yeah,
How
but
about
what
every-
is it, 130 in there?
No, 200 plus.
200.
Is it 200 plus?
Yeah, I think it was 225. I think it was something like that when we did it.
Is
That
there
was
a-
another permanent building committee that's in there.
That's right.
We screwed that one up too. But I think that almost every chair has a name on it, so it's Gonna be quite a lot to do, but it's gotta be done, period.
But it,
Yeah, the
but it is,
existing,
And there's other names too that donated as well.
They
Yeah. Yeah,
Joe, but it is like Chip said, there's only gonna be a section because of the different size of the spaces, right?
It may be more than a section. It all depends on how many seats there are.
Right, Joe.
maybe.
Right, Chip. If there's 267 or 260 in that space, however you cut it up, it's 260, right?
right. But
Got
you
it.
do the first 260 from the front row. Whatever, might be the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could leave front row for new donors.
That's your, oh, okay. You got one already. Ah, there we go. You can always,
Somehow I just
you
lost my
can
Christmas
never open
bonus.
your mouth, right? That was it.
Joe, you don't.
Frank is gonna have that fight with the old donors.
Now we got Swan Construction and Frank Person.
We're racking them up. All right, thanks.
Yeah,
But
but
it's very
I think
important
that's a
that we do that.
discussion once we
Yeah,
know the number.
We've got to really,
Make sure it's
really
done right.
go into that, right, and just do it really, have to do it right, because those people, built that space.
What's the
deserve
floor and chorus and band?
the floor is epoxy. Both of those spaces.
What's the flooring in the theater, is it? In the aisles and stuff?
The aisles, that is broadloom carpet.
It is?
Yeah. At the chairs and seating, that's
Yes.
concrete.
Yeah, okay. And in the back is carpet as well?
It's carpet at the stairs. This is not concrete. This is actually light gauge framing holding up these few steps. So we're likely looking at more of a rubber finish underneath the chairs. Something very
Okay.
durable.
What's the center thing?
This is where the soundboard goes.
Okay, is that where you're doing the
That's the whole.
technical stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, along with in the control room above. Yeah.
Okay.
Steve, question for you. Is this the Savings Bank Theater?
Is this the Savings Bank Theater?
Correct.
Oh, in the naming?
Yeah. That's still up for discussion?
I think it could be up for discussion, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're currently calling to salvage the existing Savings Bank Theater sign and placing it outside. Of course, if there's discussion to change that, we'll
I
hold.
think naming is a whole other thing we gotta talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
And then those existing donor plaques are also being placed in the vestibule here. So all for that location for that.
For handicap, seat, that's like, is that a ratio of the total number of seats or?
Yeah, code requirements based on a ratio of the seat total. So we have the companion seats and ADA seats here at the back. We also have them down at the front here, 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 and here. Yeah, and there's a accessible ramp at this end here to get you down, yeah.
And there, I assume that there's a lighting grid over that stage, correct?
The theater lighting?
Yep.
Yeah, we have, anybody's really interested, I can go to the theater consultant's drawings here. The lighting grid plan here.
Yeah. We're doing just the show.
Yeah, don't mess with mine. Don't mess with that.
Yeah, this is a section at the stage showing stage lighting and how it relates to the drapes.
And there's some flies, go up?
Yeah, all the rigging, yeah, is all back.
How many are there? 3?
Let's see what he shows here. We have, yeah, do you mean the pipes? We have 24 pipes.
Oh, I'm talking about are there any capacity to fly things? What's the height?
The height is the,
Yes.
49.
We fly a panel the size of the proscenium above it and out of sight,
Okay,
50 foot.
okay. Is there just one system to fly? Is there more than one?
With 24 line sets.
Okay, all right.
No, we're gonna send you up first.
Hey, I've been up there.
We're gonna bring you up.
Many years ago. All right, where do you want to head to? Any other questions on the theater? You want to head to the administrative?
No,
What do you want?
101EF.
Sorry.
Stay on this
101 EF.
floor.
What is it?
This is F.
101F
This is WCAT,
is,
Business Administration.
Yeah, okay, that's what I.
so 101F is primarily district office, WCAT. District office is this piece here, this L shape down here. Actually, it might be easier to see this on the color plan. So district office, this space here. WCAT, you can see the large WCAT studio here, center. Smaller studios, control room, et cetera, is in this area. And the back of house, hallway and support spaces are all here as well. So multiple custodial storage rooms, recycling trash, general receiving supply, custodial workshop, office, the main electric room, water service room, and loading dock. And there is parking directly opposite here for district office and WCAT. Doesn't show in the architectural.
So how do I get into WCAT without going through?
The main entry is here, vestibule 1073.1. That's the front door for the WCAT. And this is the reception space immediately opposite.
And then how is that locked off of this, anything having to do with the school?
So
Is that F1073? That set of doors?
So the connections between WCAT and the school constitute, it's two doors. There's this 3-foot door next to the receiving general supply. And then there's double door for their storage space. Everything in the building is on the same security system, but it can be programmed so that WCAT does not have access to any space beyond this door here, which basically divides part E and F.
Where, way over here?
Yeah, this door here. We do need to provide them with a second means of egress, so we have to provide access for them through hallway FH 119. So that they do need some connection between.
But they won't be able to get into the school proper, right?
No, unless somebody were to grant them access.
That's essentially how it works now, correct? They have one door that ties to the school.
Yeah.
So that entrance to WCAT, where, is that 10?
This one here?
Yeah.
So what is out there? Is there parking? Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a separate parking lot over there that is dedicated for district office and WCAT. So, I believe 38 or something like that. And then there's obviously walkway connections to both those doors.
Exterior wayfinding to get people back there. There's the loading dock.
So loading dock is here. This is the parking area for WCAT and the district office. This is this is the WCAT door here. This is the district office door here.
What Phil just asked was, is there national signage that'll get someone to WCAT in the district office? Peter, do you know?
I know we do have a directory sign, farther up the site. One of those bubbles, which I imagine, most of it would be for drop off, but, yeah. They were planning to put something there.
Yeah, we're working on the signage right now.
Okay.
The signage design. It tends to lag behind the rest of the design a little bit.
Yeah.
but there will be very visible signage for each of the entrances.
How much of the, I know there was the issue with WCAT. That what providing, correct?
You know, how far we're fitting it out, in other words?
Yes, how far we're fitting it out. How far are we fitting it out? That's my question. I mean, we have like a reception or something here?
Yeah, there's a reception space. You can see,
It shows a desk. Is that something we're providing?
I can't, I have to look at the drawing here for.
And then I noticed like in the offices, there's storage cabinets. Is that something we're providing?
Sorry, in the standard, in the offices. That would be under casework. So
I don't think we are. Who remembers what that conversation ended up as?
this we can put on FF&G.
I think that might be an error. We shouldn't be showing any furniture in the space.
Right.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We're just giving walls, right?
We're just giving them walls and the toilets and the
Plumbing.
Painted walls.
plumbing and
and
painted walls.
Plumbing and,
So we're basically replicating the space thing. All the components, they have a lobby, we're giving them a small lobby. They have a reception area, we're giving them a reception area.
Right.
And so on.
Okay,
Same number of offices, slightly expanded because they have needs that are not met right now. And within the space budget, we found ways to, kind of double up.
okay.
and then I remember we're doing some steel in the studio so that we're not redoing it when they go to do their fit out.
Yeah,
For
this is
the grid.
attached to the structure.
Some structure, that's right, but only what's attached to the structure.
Like,
And then they'll put in their other lighting and
Yeah.
panels, et cetera, whatever else they need. Okay.
Those offices.
They're next.
Oh, yeah.
All right, any
The
questions?
district offices, are they
Yeah, we're gonna go to-
carpeted or?
That is LVT in the common areas and then carpet in the individual offices, although I also want to check that one more time.
What?
Actually, it's all LVT. Yeah, it's LVT in the district office across the board.
In everybody's office and the hallways.
Look, LVT.
Not exactly. I thought I had a photo, but,
I believe it's a wood look, but it's more of a gray finish.
Yeah.
More like an elevated, conference type environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not trying to look like stained millwork. That's through the side. Feels different in there. You're not seeing here also are the workstations that line that whole wall. There's actually, it's a very efficient layout.
those are the furniture.
It's not just a wide corridor as it might look.
Yeah, this shows the layout for those cubicle style desks.
What are those? Little conference areas or?
These are individual desks here.
It's open workstations. So they're, lightweight partitions up to shoulder height. The top of it is glass or transparent. And they're a little bit elongated, so there's a little bit extra space for storage and filing in between them.
Is there printers between them?
Oh,
Or just
They're
storage?
the hallway's a little bit generous, so there could be printers along that line, but there's a work area right there
Okay.
that has the printers and copiers, as well as worktop areas with cabinetry, storage supplies, et cetera. And then there's the courthouse.
So these are all the offices, but and across here is where all those
Those
the workstations.
cabinets and the two tall,
Oh, okay.
to give privacy to the demonstration.
District offices. Oh, yeah.
Those are below kind of-
No, no, WCAT has.
That's what I thought. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's the business.
So this is district offices, that's WCAT.
Yeah,
Pass that budget every year.
I don't pass it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. One thing, Tom. Everything is.
So, so all of, I was just confused by that. All of those are little cubicle type things?
Yeah, office furniture. Yep.
Primarily support staff. So, right, it's like an open workstation environment.
It's all,
Find it-
it's all furniture, they're no.
Second, 012A. Now, we've done that one.
Is there anything in the loading documents for me to see, or is there anything glorious about loading docks? Nothing really.
yeah, Tim might feel that way.
Given the space that creates.
There's the dock leveler, for one of the loading bays. And it's likely that the trash and recycling dumpsters will be located in the, first and second bay over here. There's a
Recycling, all the operations are over there.
Yeah.
Changes this?
Trash and recycling room is right here. And then it gets directly into that space where you can place it into the dumpster. This is 101F.
Is that dock leveler undercover?
Yes, this entire loading dock has there's a roof over it. Yes. Also commodities freezer for kitchen use here as well. So that's a few inches.
Have to take the dumpster out from under cover, right? That way they could smash it off the ground.
To wake the whole neighborhood up, right?
Where's the dumpster?
Care about any neighbors?
And look at the loading dock.
It's gonna be different neighbors now, though.
Are they different schedule for the dumpster?
Yeah,
Appreciate that, Jim.
I talked to Mr. Farrell, yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
7:01, all week this week. That's good.
That's good.
Earlier than 7.
We were at 5:46 a.m.
Okay.
We've made strides. He's very appreciative.
Tell them to go a little later, you know?
We're working.
And what did you want, the size?
All right, let's turn to A102C.
We don't have public safety, just.
Oh, God, yeah.
They can't. Soon.
No, so. So where are we at now?
Yes.
102C.
The learning stairs. Okay.
Let's just bring it to us. Oh, absolutely.
I think we briefly looked at this earlier, but
Right.
it's primarily the media center.
What's that area above the learning stairs?
This is something, these are benches on level 1. They shouldn't be showing on this plan. There's a private error here.
Okay. And what's above that? That's the learning center or the media center?
Media center here, yeah.
And
So
those are what?
these are bookshelves
Oh, okay.
and mobile bookshelves here in the center.
Mobile?
So that this space can be a little more flexible, push these to the side, have a small lecture classroom.
Okay. And this is the windows. with all
Can you
that.
talk about the finishes in the media center for a little bit?
Right, especially the windows and the,
Finish plan here. So finishes and media center, we have LVT throughout most of the space. That's this the line hatch here. But there is carpet here at the double height area, which is the primary reading media center space.
What do you mean the double height area?
So this outline here is a double height space that goes up to the bottom of the roof. I'll show you on level 3.
Oh, okay.
That's probably a good idea. Yeah, so this is open to below for that space. I'll go to the renderings, probably easiest to see.
So are there still book stacks or not?
Yeah, they're mobile.
So
All on wheels?
not all, yeah. But all of these you see here in the center are intended to be mobile. And this is that double height space. So this here is that sawtooth window that looks out over onto the main entry, onto the field. The rest of the media center is the standard one-story space. So this is what we call the library classroom here on the left. And this is the primary center of the media center. Are we looking at doing environmental graphics on this wall? I can't remember. Yeah, but yeah. So this won't necessarily be a blank white wall.
Yes. We met with the graphics today. Some of the graphics people at the museum. Going back to A102C.
Your question, yeah.
This comes out, how does this flow from the media center down toward the learning stairs there?
You mean like the main entry?
Yeah.
This area here?
Oh, it's for all the way over there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is in between? What is in here?
Between the main entry and the learning space.
Above your scroll there.
This area.
Yeah, that area there. What's that?
So this is the librarian's office here,
Oh, okay.
and then the maker space, which is attached to the media center.
Open space. Oh.
It's above the office. What is that?
This wall separates the.
No, I'm looking at the office of the librarian. What's above that?
Oh, this here. Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
that.
That's the circulation desk.
Oh, that's the circulation desk. Okay. All right.
So does the top of the learning stair
Yeah, where does it go?
walk right into the media center?
No, the top.
It's the other way.
Stair, yeah, it's the opposite direction. So
Oh, low to high.
it's down here.
I'm going the wrong
You're
direction.
looking at it the wrong
Sorry,
way.
guys. Right.
That big open space is to below.
You come in the main door, straight up the learning stair, have to go up,
Okay.
and then you double back to go to the media center.
Yeah. And then over.
Yeah, this view here can show you. So these windows are into the maker space and librarian's office.
No discussion of putting a large display up there.
Yeah,
You guys still looking at
we're
that?
working on that.
That's really cool.
So there's no way into.
This is open space. So you gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's what, forget the rendering up. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out.
And then get into this. This open.
This is open to below.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just open below.
Thank God you're here, Tom.
Cafeteria. You want to go to level 1 in that lobby area? We done?
Or do you want to go to Jim?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go to the main gym then. 102D. Sorry. Forgot we got the gym.
So this is the main gym, roughly 18,000 square feet. 3 full-size basketball courts. And then the primary court here, either side of the bleachers. Bleacher seat, I have to double check the number, but it's roughly in the 1,000 seats category. Main entry is down here, a series of double doors. And this is off of the learning stair area. Egress, there's multiple means of egress out of the gym. Stair here, stair at this corner, and then another door here down to another stair.
Are you getting in after hours? After school hours? What,
So our thinking is that this stair here would be the best stair to use, stair D2. This is the one that goes down to the area where the AD office is. So they can grant entry into that space for visiting people.
right, so the locker, the girls' locker room,
Yeah, we're all the locker room.
and the elevator, and the elevator?
The elevator is back here, so this would still be usable. We're not blocking that off when people say, if you need to use it.
And the bleachers roll back?
Yeah, they go back.
I assume all the baskets are are motorized. Have you spec'd all the backboards and that type of stuff yet, or is that still coming?
Yeah, we have those in the specs, yeah.
Are they all glass or the side courts wood or? All glass. And 2 volleyball courts, right?
It's a little hard to see because of the overlapping lines, but yes.
And screw down into the floors and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, we have the stanchion posts.
Okay.
Joe, can I ask a question?
Absolutely, Steve.
What's the floor in the gym?
It's a maple wood finish.
The entire gym is?
Yeah, the entire gym's maple.
And I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. It's
Gotta put it in the basket, Steve.
I understand that. It's not big enough for a track.
Not big enough for.
Track.
No.
No, okay.
What's the purpose of all the doors at the end?
Here.
I assume it's storage.
It's just storage, yeah.
But why so many doors?
Um,
What do you think you're actually, what are you thinking that you're gonna store in there through 7 doors?
Yeah, this needs to be refined a little bit. I think the intent really is for the wall pads to, basically hide the door so that they're acting more like panels as opposed to doors, like true swinging doors. So that it's just easier to access space like this, because if we were only to have a handful of doors, you'd end up with some nooks that are difficult to get to.
So the only thing I would suggest is that these become double doors.
Yeah.
2 double, because then you could put a thing of chairs or something else. Through a single door, it's almost impossible. That would be my only suggestion.
Yeah.
This is basically bound space between those columns.
Okay, good. You can't have enough storage.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But how you use it is different, so that would be good. And what are we putting, like, I don't see, and it could just be, I know we were talking about putting a wrestling mat up in the ceiling. Are we putting a batting cage up in the ceiling? What else are we putting in the ceiling?
So the batting cages are in the aux gym. The mat lift,
Are in the what
And the
gym?
one?
the auxiliary gym on the level 1.
Okay, so that's when that's when
It's a different floor, right? Yeah.
gymnasium comes down.
Yeah, so the aux gym, actually, you can see the batting cages on this plan.
Those are batting cages?
Yeah, these rectangles over here.
Okay.
There is a mat lifter in the main gym. We don't have one in the aux gym, though. There's also a projector screen located here for presentations, assemblies. The projector would be on a cart though. It was just too difficult to have one coming down from the ceiling here.
And what
We
sort
have
of,
divider curtains as well.
sure the sound system is in the spec. Has that been spec'd yet?
Right. It is spec. I just can't speak to the details of it.
That's okay. Who spec'd it?
That is actually, the gym is in-house in our office, so our tech designer spec that.
Just pulling it up.
So help me, because I see, so the storage you found between two columns. The other storage is down here.
Yeah, there's storage down here, storage in the hallways as well, behind the bleachers.
You have, are you specking or are you foreseeing any floor covering to put mats down on the hardwood at any given time?
I don't,
Old mats for baseball often. You know, spring, it becomes a field house more than anything
Right.
else.
Yeah.
So because we have no rubber flooring, I don't know if that's been part of a spec or thought about.
I'd have to check on that. I mean, I know the auxiliary gym has all of the gymnastics mats that are rolled out in that space. I'm not positive about the upper gym.
Where does all the gymnastic stuff go when it's not gymnastics?
So on A101D, the auxiliary gym has storage space back here. There is the large athletic storage adjacent here as well. There's PE storage outside of the auxiliary gym here. So it's everywhere that we could find storage, we've been shoehorning it in. There's additional athletic storage back here as well.
So wait, so you're on what, 101?
101D.
It's on level 1, yeah.
So this is level 2?
Yeah, that's showing the open space in the
Open to above.
auxiliary gym, yeah.
Oh, open above. Okay, so the batting cages are just shown,
Yeah, because they are higher, that's why it's flowing in that space.
but they're floating in that space. Okay. So the auxiliary gym is 2 stories. Okay.
Yeah.
I got a little confused there, sorry. All exterior.
Okay.
And are these bathrooms here thinking about visitors and people at the games?
Yeah,
Okay.
these are primarily, these are the bathrooms for the locker, for the gym. They can also use the bathrooms directly below here on level 1 that typically primarily serve the auditorium and dining commons, but they also
Right.
tended to serve the gym overflow usage.
Can you talk about the culinary arts room for a second and what's in there?
22 here. There are a lot of things in here.
I'm looking for where the fixed counter space is, or,
Yeah, that'll primarily show in the food services drawings. So let me find those. One second.
I'm just high.
Okay. So culinary arts. Here it is. So this is the culinary arts layout. The general overall breakdown of the space is that the teaching demonstration area is here to the left. So this is the demonstration table with the cooktops, hood. sink, et cetera, everything that the teacher needs. And then, whoops. I don't know what just happened. This is weird. I don't know what just happened. Where it went. That's like frozen on me. Yeah. Let me, this wasn't you open this.
Plan B.
Can't blame this one on me.
Can we blame this on Joe somehow?
There you go. I think there's some hidden links in this drawing. That must have been what happened. So this is the demonstration area. Lots of storage along the walls back here. The student workstations are over here to the right. So that includes typical countertops with small cooktops here and here. Sink, small refrigerator. There's a group refrigerator spaces over here in the center. There's a bake station in the center here. And some other refrigerators and freezers throughout the space. There's also a pot washing station, fairly large sink basin here along the wall.
Next to the control room. When you're in the control room, come and get your food. Yeah, exactly. Snacks.
Snacks for the control room.
Like lower type?
Or type. Actually don't know that off the top of my head. Probably proxy, yeah.
Out in the main kitchen or Foxy.
Yeah, that's resilient for epoxy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, can we go back now to
We want to do first floor
lobby, first
floor?
floor, learning stairs, all that?
101C. So cafeteria meeting space, the main entry, vestibules. That immediately opens out onto the learning stair. There are two access stairs either side of the learning stair, on the left and the right, and in the center are all of the seating. There is a fixed wood bench seating here at the base. This is the large open cafeteria space and lunch meeting. Cafeteria meeting space. This is a one-story space connected to the cafeteria and has a nano wall system. So that's a folding glass wall. So that can open all the way to one end. So you have a complete through connection between both spaces, or it can be closed off to be its own space. And that's what is shown here in this plan. The meeting space has a teaching wall in here, or a presentation wall with a short throw projector on this side. The servery, which is technically in part D, so it's not fully showing here, is over here, this area of the dining commons. And this space back here is sort of, it's.
There's a lag.
Oh, look at that. Wow. Okay. I didn't know that. Fine on my end. This is a like drop-off area for trash, recycling. There's a sink for dumping liquids. And there's also vending machines, which they don't show on the architectural, but we have them here in this area. And then at the end of that space is the main entry for the auditorium. And there's a school store underneath the learning stair, along with the banking lab and the business lab.
There it is.
The entry, what's the main entry setup? How do you get in? Is there locked doors?
So the first vestibule is, or the weather vestibule. The second vestibule is the security vestibule. So Without an access card, you need to essentially request or talk to the general office in order to be granted access into the general office or vestibule. Like visitors who need to check in with the main office would only be granted access through this door once the general office has pushed a button to allow them in. They wouldn't be granted access directly into the dining commons. So we'd have to come in here and check in.
Is
that all glass?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Is that all glass?
The vestibule walls are all glass. This wall here has a security transaction window. Otherwise, it's solid.
How does, if you get in the weather, the first entrance, you have to get, how do you get back, how do you get into the second one? If they can't see you?
Well, they,
Those doors are open.
yeah, these would be open. It's just, these are locked.
Those are the locked
Yeah,
ones.
those are locked doors.
Oh, okay, so the first two are open, but to get in, you get in, it's the third one to have to get in.
Yeah.
Right.
One pool start, those outer doors are locked. So they'll be an intercom, advising, each one out, is 11. Second set of doors are always open. Which are always locked. One to school in Chester.
What are the other security guys?
Specifically for the
Glass?
vestibule or,
Glass and all?
yeah, so we have the laminated glazing and all the side lights. That was agreed to with the police department. So
Right.
anywhere that we have the side lights, that's laminated glazing. Alan, what is the glazing type?
I know we talked about it with the chief, as I recall, Helen.
Security lighting, it's a cloud, but the inner layer is the heavier inner layer. Typical laminated cloud.
As I recall, there was several versions of it and we chose the most secure that we could get.
The heavy too, so it takes a lot longer impact wise to be able to break.
Yeah, and then these windows here, these main offices, per that meeting that we had.
Correct.
Back, yeah, these are also
Right.
security glazing, yeah. For the laminated glazing type, right? We're using the laminated glazing type for these offices, correct? Yes.
The learning stair, is that all terrazzo? What's the product there? And what's the product on the fixed seating?
The fixed seating is wood, the stairs are terrazzo.
And is the floor in the cafeteria terrazzo
Yeah,
as well?
that's terrazzo.
Going into the cafeteria meeting space, same thing?
Yeah, same finish.
The principal general offices, what, the same finishes as the district offices?
Yeah, that's LVT. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, why have you guys gone to LVT now as compared to carpet or tile or something else? What's the thought? I just,
Gives you the durability of a sheet good with a bit more texture and actually some elevated look to it. It looks like better than linoleum.
how do you find it's for sound?
It's pretty good. I mean, it's.
It's,
not-
Compared to carpet, yeah, it's not.
Well,
It's not absorptive, yeah.
Better. It's a little more resilient than VCT is. That echo sound backing on the tile. I think because it's a resilient good, just similar to linoleum or rubber floor, it has even more gives and the walking on it, so it's not as noisy.
I'm not commenting right or wrong. I'm just surprised you're using it in all the offices as compared to carpet from a sound standpoint. That's also from a sound absorption standpoint.
Yeah, they're using that LVT and homes and everything now. It's like pretty much indestructible and it does have a sound absorption.
No,
It's not like clack, clack, clack.
yeah, we could put it in a lot of offices too.
Yeah,
But we have found that when we put in offices, a lot of people are now putting area rugs under their desks or stuff like that, because you don't get the absorption that you do. Hopefully enough will be in the VCT tile, with the tiles. No, not VCT, acoustical tiles, but
And Chip, I think there was a trade-off to have a more durable and cleanable solution than carpet. Um,
certainly it's easier to clean.
Limit the amount of carpet in the project we get.
Okay.
That was one of,
This is for your benefit, Tim.
this is one of my gripes, I think. And I'd save a few bucks.
Just to satisfy Tim, let's change everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually think, I think this came up in a,
Go ahead, Amy. Go.
I think it came up in a conversation with the administrative team too, is that we really didn't want carpet in the offices just because there's so many kids in and out. That we figured it was more durable and just cleaner overall to not have carpet. Carpet and kids don't, it's not a good combination. So just in general.
Okay.
The terrazzo white pictures, like,
It's more of a gray. I mean, there's a speckle to it. A very, very, very light red that we're still trying to fine tune in some. We actually haven't fully designed the pattern yet. It'll be a very simple pattern. We're not doing anything very bold here. It's more in the grayish white tone.
I think I understand the flow. Do you
is there another
understand the
main
flow?
entry?
Now
Like the
that
Galvin
the
has
way
two
the
main
stairs
entrances.
go?
Is there another sort of not main, you know what I mean? Like a secondary,
That would be the secondary athletic entrance back there. Yeah,
that hallway?
yeah.
You have an exterior elevation somewhere of the front,
The front, yep.
just for a quick, I mean, we've discussed it 1,000 times, but just to make sure we understand what we're getting.
Would you rather see the rendering or the elevation drawing?
Rendering probably.
How about the pink version?
So this is the front. Again, media center above, that's that double height space we were looking at earlier. Main entry below, to the large cantilevering entry canopy. Admin wing
Doesn't
here.
show in the renderings that we talked about was creating kind of a different patterning in the academic wing, using the second brick color, the accent darker brick, into sort of every other pier, so that we could get a grouping of two windows at the base, so it looks a little bit more stable and weight bearing on the base of the building.
And is that in the elevations?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Hard pressed, you think?
We're just.
Yeah, on the elevation, yeah. Are those shades always down?
It's wooden,
The
wood inside.
elevations are on.
They always like that?
202, yeah.
Yeah, we did it at a,
A202.
But it's not like it opens
They always take a little while to load.
it's wood inside the glass.
inside the glass.
204 is part C. That's the overall elevations are on
You
201.
can see through it, no problem.
You've seen through. You
Yes.
gotta get the light.
I see.
Just,
You kind of got a T going over two windows.
It's just a blank kitten. Put some brown sheet.
It's like an architect.
no, it's not.
The base
Very nice.
that kind of works well with the precast course above it. That kind of separates the base first level from the two levels sitting on top of it. It's something we're trying to build up from early on.
And these are, and the windows are typical with a hopper that actually does open.
Yeah, that's standard.
Yeah, where that inverted B.
Yeah.
Is it hopper or awning?
Oh, so
It opens at the bottom.
I'm sorry, yeah.
The triple pane for the energy or?
Yeah.
They have,
Blaze.
yeah.
Is all the glass wall triple paint as well?
every exterior, yeah, all exterior windows.
We must now. We're We're on a budget of, say, 25% of window to wall ratio for windows. And so, that's what we need to get to all of our energy
What about
goals,
the lunch line?
energy conservation goals. And you don't want to do a lot more than that because it's going to be expensive, right? Either, so.
Okay.
Triple glazing, not cheap. But there's a lot of repetition that we built into it, so even where you see things kind of slipping back and forth, it's basically a 7-foot module. So there are a lot of repetitive window sizes. And where you see them doubled, they're actually kind of ganged together. The triple glazing has a limitation in terms of, how big you can make those lights.
Yeah.
And so that's a new constraint that we've got a handle on. But in the front, obviously, we're going for more of a vertical kind of expression, something that looks very kind of civic minded. Where on the back is much more horizontal expression with solar chains where it's mostly facing south. And so it's a very different look when you go around to the back. So it's a different experience, which could be interesting.
Yeah, this is part B at the rear.
Those are mostly science rooms.
Yeah, well,
Is there exterior lighting around the building or not?
Yes.
Like, or
It's a mixture of both. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, like accent lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mixture. In terms of like, lighting more from a security standpoint or code minimum, we've tried to keep that off of the building and more on like light posts and objects on the site. But we do have, accent lighting and other lighting attached to the building around the perimeter.
Has the Wakefield High School sign been picked yet? Like the wording, has that been, like, who picks the wording and where it goes? Like, just.
Still gonna call it Wakefield.
Wakefield Memorial, I'm just getting like, who is that the school department? Like, who picks that?
So
How many lights is that?
our environmental graphics team will.
They'll be working on it.
Options for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not in terms of pricing all this out at this point. Not necessary to have that finalized.
It's enough info now to price it.
There's been plenty to think of allowances.
There's a basis of design drawn that could change.
Is there anything else on the exterior?
You wanna see more in the exterior?
Yeah, I would love to just walk.
Let's
I
walk
also want
around.
to talk about I don't know without Erin here, if we can talk about the exterior classrooms and how those are being managed.
Well, Peter's here.
Oh, Peter, I'm sorry. You've been so quiet down there in the corner.
Which sheet is that?
I don't want to say you're overshadowed by Brian, but maybe.
Yeah, you wanna do some more of the exterior in the back there and we can go through that?
Can we just walk through the elevate? Well, let's talk about, all right, what page is this stuff on?
So this would be the 200 series.
That
But-
won't necessarily.
So these were all drawings that were issued already for bid package 2.
Yeah.
So they're not in those drawings as bid package 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not in this.
You have them if you would like to.
That's okay.
It's okay.
It's just- I'll sit back and look.
So what is this?
So this is, Hemlock Road would be on the left side. So this is what we're calling the academic commons. You see the roof terrace there, that's upside down L shape, just to orient you a little bit there.
That's the greenhouses that.
Yeah. So this is all at grade. It's a combination of bituminous walkways, concrete, and pavers for the surface treatments. It's pretty much just pedestrian walkways, and then you have a smaller gathering area there on the left side, the hexagon, and then a larger amphitheater style, which is a combination of precast and granite tiered seating with synthetic lawn in between them.
So I'm concerned about the turf in small strips like that. How are you holding it down? And why do you think you need it, I guess?
So we We went with the turf instead of just regular lawn, just for durability's sake.
So where's the turf?
In the middle.
So here specifically, there's synthetic lawn between so these would be granite, and then this goes up 18 inches, and then the surface treatment would be synthetic lawn.
So it's the surface, it's not the seats.
Right, so if you're sitting
I
on.
think at one point, did you guys talk about doing seats in it?
We have some sloped lawn that you might sit on, but that's more of just a slope. That's not an actual. Say,
Okay,
chair.
no, I thought I remembered a conversation at one point that you were talking about on the benches, putting synthetic turf, but if you haven't done that, then that's
No,
great.
This would be where your feet would be.
Okay,
And then that way you can use it when it's a little wet. And
Yeah.
You're not worried about mud get there.
Makes-
But yeah, we have synthetic turf a couple places. We have it here, and then we also have it in the other central commons, as well as some of the seating by the field. And it's a similar detail there with a precast or granite bench, and then turf as the ground plane.
Elevation showing that corner, where the terraces and do you have, how high up is that terrace? Like 1 story?
It's on level 2, so it's 16 feet above level 1.
I mean, where the greenhouse is, Phil?
Yeah, I don't know, with it facing Hemlock and open to the public, I just,
Well, there's a 42-inch wall.
yeah.
I'll show the rendering of that corner. It'll be a little clearer. So this piece here, you can see the terrace here. This is the back of part B. So these are all science rooms here. And this is the outdoor terrace seating.
You have those, I don't know what you call them over the windows.
Shades control devices.
Yeah, so like, you climb on that. And then where are you? I don't know. No sunshades are needed everywhere. Is that a design, that's obviously to cool the
Yeah,
space.
both there into the
Yeah.
classrooms. The shading device is up 11 feet above the ground, so not that you couldn't get onto it, but you'd need to make an effort.
When you show that exterior, can you show the pole again? Where was that seating area? Is that all the way over on the left there where the white shirted
In front of,
people are?
Right in front of us.
So this is actually
Yeah,
a
this
little bit
will-
outdated,
yeah.
this rendering, and we're gonna redo them.
So it was on the other side.
This amphitheater piece is now swung over to this side. and
Oh, yeah, that's
The smaller,
Yeah,
that smaller bit.
it looked like the amphitheater was over there. Okay.
The difference.
That's a little different location. Okay.
The detail's the same, just orientation.
Yes.
We simplified a lot of the outdoor spaces when we met with Tim and Dennis, just for maintenance purposes. We wanted to make sure the lawns were easy to mow and some of the walkways were easy.
Very easy.
that's the mower big one.
Gotta make sure Dennis is happy. Is that this?
We have to make sure Dennis is happy. He's still not happy. There's trees on the plan.
Yeah, there's trees. Those leaves might actually come down in the fall.
What are you calling this space? What is this?
We call this the academic common
Academic Commons?
or academic wings. And it's really just outdoor classrooms and outdoor academic gathering spaces.
This is also off the cafeteria room though, isn't it? Or not?
This is, the central commons are all.
So then,
No.
so then this,
So those are the 2 academic wings?
Yeah.
So I can't get there with lunch, can I?
no, if you were gonna go outside during lunch, you'd go to the central commons, which is
Okay.
in the V in the center of the building.
Does that have similar spaces to this or what?
It does. So again, the ground is pavers. There's some small plant beds and some synthetic. And then there are also shade structures here, just because it is going to get a fair amount of sun. So there's 2 shade structures on both sides, as well as some tables and stuff adjacent to the building.
Is that a material, like a cloth, or is that like a hard material, that sunshade?
It's it won't keep out like a downpour, but if it's like misting, it'll keep. So it's a little porous, but it's not completely.
What's the lifespan of that material?
I'm
I mean,
not.
how often are we replacing it, or do we end up with 3 posts that never have anything on them after 5 years?
I'll look into that. I'm not honestly not too sure.
I'd be curious, because one of the things we have trouble with is deferred maintenance, Steve. And,
I'm more worried about the leaves on the ground.
Just worry, Dennis never
Dennis hasn't come and cleaned up the corner yet.
Since Tim's been over there, there's no problem.
No deferred
There's
maintenance?
no deferred.
Okay.
That's kind of.
I'd just be curious to what the life expectancy of those screens are. And then do we order 2 or 3 sets right off the bat? You know, because will they be made again? And I guess that also comes to, you know, and we'll have this conversation offline, but backstock, right? We don't usually need as much backstock as a spec, because we don't have storerooms to put it in.
That's a working.
I mean, we ended up,
Item on the table right now.
we ended up with the Galvin, using some of it when we redid a science class. I can't remember how or why, but we used some of the backstock so that we actually had a decent amount. But just storage of the backstop back. So we can save some money and not speccing a ton of backs. I don't know how much you guys usually do, but you think about 10% of ceiling tile, that's like another building. When you're,
So-
We've been talking about the fact that the high school was a storage site for the Galvin attic stock, which now is.
There's probably still some of it over there.
is there still some over there? Is that where it went?
A lot of it
Just put it
did.
in the green room basement.
I thought it went up in that.
Some of it went there, but there wasn't enough that had to go to the high school.
The Greenwood.
Okay, so let's,
So our spec writer can run a report, an added spec report, the whole specs. We'll do that, and then I think we have a meeting with you and Tim especially, and review quantities. What's reasonable, what do you need? Because you're not gonna have you don't have another high school that you can store it in.
okay.
Well,
Good.
Is this a
Good, at least that we're talking about
It's
it.
on the list of the.
Is this a current rendering of Sunday?
I want to know
Is this
where
pretty
we're
close to where you're
I
at?
don't want this to just be.
Yeah, I'd say it's. I mean,
It's robust.
Like the color of the sunshade is.
Right, but outside, like,
Neighbors, it's
just an open area, no tables, no built-in furniture or anything like that? Like, where would people eat? Like, if they're gonna, you know what I mean?
There are tables, if you can see them in the back there, closer to the building.
On the edge.
Yeah, I guess if you go back to the plan, right? Yeah,
There's just a lot of it right now.
yeah, so, there's some tables there closer to the building. And then the rest of those, block features are more, precast and granite, just like, just.
Seats, yeah. Can you walk through quickly just the elevations again of the sides of the building, just in case anybody has any questions on how it all blends together, starting at the front? And not the renderings, but
Not the renderings, yeah. So these are the overall elevations, they're a little abstract because they're just straight on and the building is angled. But I can start with the main entry here. So this is the west facade.
and what page is that?
This is 201. I will go from the left to right, it's a very long facade.
He can count backwards. Better than me.
Yeah, so UB1 at the bottom is the overall west elevation, so that's the main entry. Moving from left to right, this is the loading dock, that 1-story space back here. This is the auxiliary gym, this block. So that's a 2-story space. These are not windows. These are the recesses that Brian was talking about. Essentially picking up on the pattern of the windows adjacent here. In this case, these are in the fitness center and multipurpose room. And the main gym is above here. So that's a two-story space.
When you have an athletic event at night, you would use the main entrance, wouldn't you? To get to the athletic?
Probably here. Oh,
You
wait.
can use, well,
It was a school event, yes.
yeah, I mean, the main entry is
Yeah, that's
here
what
in
I'm
the
talking
dining
about.
commons, and then this is that secondary entry into the athletic.
That's a secondary entrance, but like if it's a basketball game, against a Middlesex League game, you use the spectators will use the main entrance, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah, spectators, I would expect to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have the security grills so that when they come down in after hours, people can't wander into other spaces of the building.
Okay, but they would go in the main entrance into that whole lobby area and then into.
Yeah, you would naturally want to go up the learning stair.
Right.
To the left into the main entry of the gymnasium.
And then during the weekend, you could use the auxiliary.
Use the auxiliary if you want to.
Just for WCA,
Right.
whatever it is. Wakefield,
Yeah, the
WBA.
kids' basketball thing.
So yeah, this bulk here is the main gym.
So I'm gonna ask a couple questions that I forgot to ask when we were on the interiors. Are there any lights, are there any windows into the main gym?
There are the third story, clear story windows here that have this like honeycomb pattern. That is actually a product called Solera, which is a translucent product that diffuses sunlight. So you
Totally
can,
diffuses?
yeah, and so it just fills the gym with a clean diffuse light.
And how are the acoustics are you doing acoustic block as the CMU? What are you doing
No.
for acoustic in the gym?
Yeah, so yeah, we have acoustic roof deck and Tectum wall panels at the upper level.
Tectum,
Perimeter.
okay.
Yeah. But we do have a block finish, but it's not an acoustic block. It's a 4-inch block veneer. Solera
How
also,
does that light product work? Well,
yeah, I've used it on past projects and it's,
so full sunlight, you can't see the sun.
no.
Okay.
And it's a sort
You
of
don't have to worry about
no glare.
angles or any of that.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of this product is to really eliminate glare, but also to
Give
provide
light. Okay.
more than ample light during the day, yeah. And that product is carried through both on the west elevation. It turns the corner here on the north, and we also have 3 blocks of Solera on the east elevation. So at all times of day, we'll be getting sun into this space.
Did we are we ACing the gym?
Yeah, air
We are,
conditioning,
right?
yeah.
Okay. I thought that was a decision. Air condition the gym.
Discussion.
Well, so that we can have town meeting and everything, or whatever in there. Had it in the gym before.
So just moving south along the facade. So this is back at the main entry. Media center, main entry here, dining commons. This is the academic wing. Egress stair, which is a curtain wall on levels 2 and 3 with a little bit of a cantilever over the egress exit discharge at the level 1.
See, Tim, that helps. You can see if the lights are on in the stairway when you drive by at night. See whether the janitors are really working or not.
I do that constantly.
The Galvin, it's easy.
And then this piece is another egress stair on the south facade. So you can see that cantilever here very clearly. Wrapping around onto the south. This is again part B,
It's for your grant.
classrooms. That egress stair that we saw previously, stair B2. Same thing, it has the curtain wall on levels 2 and 3. And this is the science, this is very skewed because of the angle of the building, but this is science wing here, group science classroom grouping. Science here as well. That's the greenhouse, and the terrace is band right here. That is the terrace coping. and more classroom spaces at the end here.
Yeah.
This is egress stair A1. This is the stair that goes up to the academic wing roof. So you can see that this protrudes above the rest of the building here. And moving along to the east facade. Again, this is the view that we're looking at in the rendering earlier. Science rooms here. These are the sun control devices running along all of the windows. This is the terrace. You can see the greenhouse popping out this corner. Egress stair and the central common space. So this here is the curtain wall into the dining commons. This is the entry into the rear entry into dining commons. This is the Part A classrooms. Art rooms are down here at the bottom. This is the theater. This bulk here is the theater, so there's no windows. These are all slight recessed brick patterns along these strips here. This is the music suite here. So if you could see into these windows, that's the chorus room. And then beyond that is the band room. These are those Solera windows at the east facade of the gym. So again, you'll get sunlight into the gym at all times of the day. And then this is part F. So this area here is the district office. These are all windows into individual offices. That is the kitchen entry at district office. So there's a small patio outside of here where people in the district office can come out, enjoy lunch during the day. And these are the main entry canopies into district office and WCAT. And the last facade, this is the north. This one looks messy because of all the various level changes happening, but this is the entry into district office, entry into WCAT. So this is the roof of that, of those offices here. These are acoustic screens for the equipment. Because just to the left here are the closest neighbors that we have to the building. So we need to block sound transmitting over to those houses. This is the other stair that goes to the roof. This one goes to the lower roof level. So that gets you to the dining commons roof, part D roof, etc. Also to part F as well here. And this is the loading dock. These are auxiliary gym windows. They also have the Solera material. And this is the other bit of Solera that wraps around at the main gym. This here is a screen. So
Do we have a loading dock that truck height?
yeah, it's
Dock. Or is that a dock height, but is that, so that driveway goes down?
yeah, it goes.
Okay.
It slopes down.
Slope down. So it becomes a bathtub when the drain gets clogged.
That's Culver's one. Keep a steel rake in my truck.
So those are the overall facades.
Anybody have any questions? Do we have a quick site on, just to remind everybody, the learning area, the entrance, do you have a site?
The overall site plan?